Major Big Ten test as we scout the Purdue Boilermakers. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Absopure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Fifth Third Bank, working hard to be the only bank you'll ever need. And by State Farm, providing insurance and financial services.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. Well, Michigan put up big numbers against Illinois on Saturday, and I want to thank you for that victory, 56-14, because...
You might want to thank the team.
Well, I want to thank you and the team. Is that okay?
Yeah.
The blood pressure medicine stayed in the closet this week.
Well, it wasn't a very fun week of practice, Jim, and but we came out and got off to a little bit better start.
But coming off that Minnesota win, again, that was such a huge comeback. It seemed like there was a rekindled little bit of intensity as you started out against the Illini.
Well, I think two things. Yeah, we did have a great week of practice. We had a lot of things to work on. We wanted to come out of this game feeling like we had improved and doing a better job stopping the run and running the football more effectively.
Well, one of the things you did in the game is you started quickly. This is your opening possession, and you went right after him on the ground.
Well, we're running off tackle here. Kevin Dudley had a very good football game behind Boss, and Chris Perry ran the football very effectively throughout the day.
Got Tim Bracken in the ball game too.
Well, Tim is a guy that has been really had some difficult days at Michigan. He broke that leg 2 years ago. Finally is really, I think, getting in shape and made some good cuts. Here Chris had some very good runs today, cutting back against the grain. Good block down there by Braylon Edwards. And what you want to do is establish the run and use the clock and keep their offense off the field.
Well, that made it a 7-0 game early. You force them to a 3-and-out, get the ball back, and you go right back to work.
Well, first down pass to Braylon Edwards, and Braylon is a guy that is really starting to play outstanding football.
Again, great blocking here. Lentz, and then Chris just does a great job of making people miss.
Well, this kid is having a great year, Jim. He's a great football player.
And then you come in again with Bracken, and he does a nice job getting 8 yards here.
Well, good blocking there. And again, Kevin Dudley on the lead block and the defensive end. And Tim was running up in there. And here we go, 14-0, running the football. And the first quarter is almost over. And Illinois had the ball 3 downs.
Yeah, and the other key is they had a chance here on a short 3rd and 2, and you were able to stuff them.
Well, Grant Bowman forces a ball to cut back, and Larry Stevens and Ernest Shazor coming up there late. Norman Hoyer did a good job on the guard and tackle scoop. And you're right, Jim. That's what you need to get the football back and into Steve Breston's hands.
And this is just great coaching, right?
Yes, it is, Jim. And I spent a lot of time with Steve this week teaching him how to miss all these guys. There's a great block by Elijah Bradley. Lamar Woodley hustling around there. Pierre Rimbert getting the block. He had some great help. But that play was not designed to be a return to the left. Steve Breston just is a guy with great instincts and great ability.
That's a playmaker.
Yes, he is.
And well, that gets you to 21-0. Then you get a great sack here from Diggs as the defense continues to play out.
Well, Jim made a great call there and bringing Diggs up the middle, and they didn't pick up the protection, and now we're going to get the ball again.
You're going to get the ball again. This time you work through the air a little bit more, but all of it comes off run action.
Well, yeah, great play action, gives John plenty of time, and this kid, Jason Avant, always comes to play and always makes the tough catches over the middle. Great block here by Brackens on pass protection, and Braylon makes a circus catch there, Jim.
And then you go back to Avant, and you like Avant, don't you?
Well, he's a guy that he'll do anything it takes to help his team win. He's done a great job on special teams, makes a lot of catches over the middle.
And then Andy Minery, tight end, gets his first touchdown at Michigan.
Well, it's always great to see a guy that's paid his dues, and Andy's doing a great job for us at tight end, get his first touchdown at Michigan.
At that point, it's a 28-0 game, and even though it's near the end of the half, your defense really hauls up you stop them on a 3 and out and get the ball back for really the nail in the coffin late in the half.
Well, you know, we used the clock well here. We used our timeouts. And John, here again, makes a play for first down. And he's done this a number of times this year, tucking the ball and making something when nothing's there in the passing game.
And here's the big play on 3rd and 10 in this drive.
Well, you see a lot of time, Jim, and that's one of the things. Calvin Bell has had a good game up in Minneapolis, makes a good catch there. But one of the things that happens to pass rush, if you can run the football and take something out of the pass rush, and on 4th down, we run in there behind Pape and Lentz and get a score just before the end of the half.
At 35-0 at half, you've just dominated the game. What message do you give to your team when you get in there with that kind of a lead?
Well, first of all, Jim, you know, Illinois lost their starting quarterback, John Butcher, for this game. But the thing we talked about at halftime is not going out there and slopping around, not playing with good intensity, good discipline, no penalties, no sacks, and continue to do the things. We understood a lot of guys were going to get a chance to play in that half, but we still wanted to play well.
Well, the Wolverines did get a lot of guys an opportunity to play. We'll be back to take a look at those second half highlights, but first we hear from Andy Minery talking about how those Wolverines were hitting on all cylinders against Illinois.
Yeah, all parts of the offense. You know, the run game, John was really on fire, especially, you know, that last drive right before halftime. He really put it together.
When you get in, you got to do what you got to do. You know, if you're starting, you got to do what you got to do. If you're coming in behind somebody, you got to come in and do what you got to do.
Now, Lamar Woodley, the young freshman, getting some time in there. His first start.
Get some time on the camera, too.
Yeah, how about that? Some FaceTime, as they call it. He needs more than you and I both.
He's going to be fine.
Yeah, he's going to be good. Second half. One of the things I know you wanted, didn't slop around. It started early, a little sloppy at both possessions. They couldn't move, you couldn't move, and then they got the ball back and started to move on you.
Well, Jim, at this point, you know, we've already substituted some, but here Jacob Stewart, who pulled a hamstring late in the game, made a good play there, their biggest play of the game, and then they hit the out cut down there, and they got a pretty good drive going here.
Well, they actually get in here. A 1-yard plunge by Pierre Thomas, and it's a 35-7 game. And
you don't like to start the half.
That's exactly. I know that you didn't like that because there was some sloppiness to it, but you had to like.
Well, we hurt ourselves there with a 15-yard personal foul penalty. But the good news here is our offense came back. John hit a big 3rd down play there to keep the drive alive, and we were very efficient on 3rd down. Here again, Avant makes a wonderful catch with the ball thrown behind him. And Brian Thompson had a couple of good catches today, and he's a guy that's improving and playing an increasingly important role in this team.
And you had a little stretch play that you ran into the boundary that was very successful.
Well, there's good blocking out there, and Tim Brackens makes a good cut here down inside the 10 and gets another touchdown.
And that had to make you feel good because you answered their score to make it a 42-7 game.
Well, there you feel like you have control of the game, and now we get an opportunity to play some young guys that need to play.
And some of the young guys like Rondell Biggs right there causes a fumble.
Rondell Biggs is a guy that really in the last 4 or 5 weeks has made a move on our team, and you're right, he makes a great play there. Jim strips the ball, and Scott McClintock hustling around comes up with the ball.
And then we move into the 4th quarter, and you get a big turnover on an interception, but caused by pass rush.
Well, Pat Massey hits the quarterback low, and Rondell Biggs coming around on a game hits him high, and the ball's overthrown. Ernest Shazor comes up with an interception, great field position.
And then you go again, your backup quarterback, backup offensive line comes in. Matt Gutierrez, nice play here.
Well, good play action here, and he's a mobile guy, makes a good throw on the run, and great to see Tim Massaquoi get a touchdown there. Tim had a couple of good catches in this game.
And that makes it a 49-7 game midway through the 4th quarter. They do come back and put a little drive together. Kornfeld makes a couple of great catches.
Well, he's a young guy. The quarterback, Chris Payson, the guy that we recruited, started the game and played quite a bit. Late in the game, they brought Dustin Ward in there, and we missed a zone drop there, and then we got a couple of real young guys. Prescott Burgess got an opportunity to play some. more than he's played this year at linebacker.
49-14 at this point, and then I thought this was very impressive because you go on a drive late, and it's mostly with second-team offensive line guys and receivers and Matt Gutierrez, and I thought this was spectacular from a run standpoint.
Well, Mark Beal and Mike Kaloje got an opportunity. Courtney Morgan got an opportunity to play some in there, and there's a good block by Kaloje, who we think is going to be a good football player here.
And how about Jerome Jackson from Saginaw? Nice running.
Well, he did a very good job. I don't know how many times he carried the football, but again, good blocking out in front. Tyler Ecker, Kaloje again, good blocking, and Jerome gets a touchdown.
56-14 the final, and again, the blood pressure medication didn't need to go anywhere. And it's nice to have a game like that, and yet I know that you know the tough part of your schedule is coming, and you had to get this game.
And those black and gold uniforms.
That's
they're
right,
coming.
the black and gold Purdue Boilermakers. We'll get to them a little later, but this game, you got out of it what you needed, didn't you?
Well, we felt like we came out of the game improving, and we'll have some guys that gain some confidence. I think our kicking game is improving somewhat, but we've got a big test ahead of us, and there's a lot of football to be played yet, Jim, in this conference.
Oh, there isn't any question about that. Coming out of this game and looking at what you did, I thought that from a standpoint of preparing for Purdue, you played some man back there, and your secondary seemed to be tackling receivers fairly well. And that's what you're going to have to do down the road, because you're going to see the ball in the air against upcoming opponents.
Well, everything Purdue does is based on what you do, what looks you give them. They're going to check at the line of scrimmage to the run if you don't have enough guys. If you've got too many guys in there, they're going to throw the football. You have to be able, they're looking for matchups because they've got some great receivers.
Are you happy coming out of the Illinois game with the run game? Because it did improve, and you had over 250 yards on the ground.
Well, I think it's a mentality, and I think certainly we had that mentality in this game. But Purdue is a different deal, Jim. They're as good a football team as we played this year.
And everybody talks about their offense, and they throw it around a lot, but Purdue can play defense.
Purdue has, they're leading the Big Ten in total defense, 5th in the nation. It's an outstanding football team, outstanding kicking game. This team doesn't have any weaknesses, and with the exception of a game they let get away early in the season against Bowling Green, they would be coming in undefeated.
Well, you know, we don't do the scouting report till later, okay?
Okay. I stand corrected.
No, that was good that you said that, but we'll say it again maybe a little later when we take a closer look at Purdue. When we come back,
I can always count on you to.
I'm trying to keep us on track here.
Yes, okay.
I'm like the coach of the show.
Yes, you are.
We'll be back and meet Grant Bowman, but first we hear from Steve Preston, who says the key to winning starts earlier than Saturdays.
We've been working same with the prior weeks, you know, been working hard on it all through the weeks, and it's just that we took it to the field this game, you know what I'm saying? We took practice to the game, and that's what we got to do every week.
He is listed generously at 6'1" and 289 pounds. Not huge for today's standards on defensive tackles, but Michigan's Grant Bowman plays huge. He has been a fixture in the defensive line since 2000, and while some might think of him as undersized, Grant Bowman certainly doesn't.
You're never undersized or slow in your own mind, even if...
Quiet, thoughtful young man is such a force that his teammates voted him captain this year. Grant admits it's a huge honor with great responsibility, but he also believes it's part of the process you go through in the Michigan football program.
When you sign your letter of intent, you have big dreams. You know, you think you're going to get here, and it's such a daily grind, day in and day out, that you really just have to focus on doing things the right way, you know, individually each day.
Time me in the 40 with a calendar. You know? I used to say, I don't have to run the 40. I got to block the guy in front of me, right? He's a great kid, isn't he?
Well, he's a bright guy and a great leader and a great competitor. Jim, he's as tough as we've had here. He's having an exceptional senior year. The injuries he has been through, had to redo a surgery, reinsert a rod in his leg. I mean, and he kept playing. He's just one of those guys that loves the game, and he inspires everybody who plays with him, because when you watch the game on Sunday, the film, you always see Grant Bowman playing with great effort and great intensity.
He's a good one indeed. When we come back, we'll talk about Purdue again. But first, we hear from Jeremy Lesueur. It's showdown time in the Big Ten.
it's on the line. Big Ten championship is out there. There's a lot of great teams in the Big Ten, and right now, next week they come in, we know they're going to come prepared, and we got to come out, practice hard, and we're going to come out and be ready.
Room report.
It's not over by far. We still got a couple games ahead, but it gets even tough during this time right now. You know, we got Purdue coming in next week, and I seen it just won just now, so they're gonna come in fired up and ready to play us, and we just got to come out and do the job again.
Well, the Wolverines have their fate in their own hands, and it starts with Purdue next week. Your next two games are against the two teams that, at the end of this weekend, are on top of the Big Ten Conference, Purdue and Michigan State, and Purdue's first.
Let's take them one game at a time.
I just said Purdue's first.
Yeah, but you're talking about two games.
No,
we got one game. All right, let's go.
Ooh, you are. You're into game mode already.
It's time to go, Jim.
All right, well, you got the Boilermakers of Purdue. Big win over Wisconsin over the weekend. Joe Tiller's done a great job.
Yes,
and,
he has.
They come in here on the road, too.
Well, Jim, they come, you know, Purdue's known for great offensive teams, and Kyle Horton here hitting John Standiford, who's one of the great receivers in the country, for a long touchdown. But Horton is having a sensational year, and Jared Voigt is a big, strong guy. They're running the football, great balance on this Purdue team offensively.
And another wide receiver you're going to watch for is Taylor Stubblefield.
Well, Stubblefield and Standiford are probably as good a pair as there is in the nation.
And we talked at the top of the show, really, that one thing that gets overlooked on Purdue is their defense.
Well, they had a great defense a year ago. They're all back, and it is a great defense. Sean Phillips, they have 3 All-American candidates. Sean Phillips there, the defensive end, is one of them. Kudavides, the outstanding linebacker, is another one. And, of course, their safety, Stuart Schweigert. 3 All-American candidates on one defensive team.
And that's the thing I think that people overlook. They look at Joe Tiller as a pass-minded guy in the offense, and they forget that defensively this team has been one of the best in the Big Ten the last couple of years.
Outstanding defense.
Against a team like this, and again, we talked about it a little at the top of the show, yardage after the catch is so very important to them because they throw short and let guys run with it. Tackling is so key in this game.
Any game.
I know, but this
especially,
game,
well, because, Jim, you're spread out. They're going to come with 5 wides and nobody in the backfield except the quarterback. They're going to give you a lot of different formations, 2 tight ends, and run the football. And they're going to do a lot of checks at the line of scrimmage. So hopefully the 12th man will be there this week in Michigan Stadium.
And that would be the crowd.
That would be our fans.
Thank you very much.
We want them to come ready because this is going to be a great football game.
Yes, it is. Against 2 very good football teams. The other thing they do, because they check and because Orton's got some experience, difficult to sack this guy.
Well, yeah, you know, you're not going to sack him a lot, but you've got to get to him. You've got to apply pressure. Pressure will force him to throw the football before he's ready, and hopefully we can force some bad throws. That's turnovers in a game like this are always big, and we've got to come up with some turnovers defensively.
And the other thing, offensively, I know that the philosophy is you've got to run the ball.
Well, we've got to be balanced, Jim, and with Chris Perry back there, we got a chance to run the football against anybody. If our offensive line plays like they're capable and with our play-action game, we feel good offensively. The kicking game is going to be a key.
I was just going to say, I want to give you an attaboy because that kicking game has improved.
Well, we're working hard. We've got a lot of guys.
It's a work in progress.
Yes, it is. But, you know, across the country, there's a lot of kicks being blocked, a lot of big plays. We had one Saturday with Breston on a punt return. So the kicking game almost invariably has a big impact on the outcome of these games.
Well, hopefully you'll get it done this week against Purdue, and we want you to join us. We'll show you all the highlights, hopefully of a Wolverine victory when we come back your way next week, right here on Michigan Replay.
Michigan Play in a Big Ten showdown with Purdue. Michigan remains standing with a huge win.